Hey, this is Todd. Welcome to the Lyceum Weekly Update number 29 for the week of July 7th, 2014. Yes, I am in a dressing gown because it is goddamn cold. I have my windows open, so I keep feeling like my neighbours are going to walk past, see me, and judge me. Straight on to launches. On Thursday the 10th, there's going to be some experimental guitar and noise album launch. It's happening at 107 Projects in Redfern with John and Carnasow. I do recommend that gig because John is a really cool experimental guitar player. Then on Friday the 11th, there's going to be a folk rock and roll album launch happening at the Brighton Up Bar in Darlinghurst. That's only $10 with Ranger Spacey. Then there's going to be a rock album launch at the Newtown Social Club in Newtown. That's also $10 with Ruined Fortune. And then there's going to be an electronica EP launch at the Oxford Art Factory in Sydney in their main room. That's $19 with Kilter. Kind of sounds like a Scottish band, but nope. They're Sydney. There'll also be a jazz album launch at the Seymour Centre in Chippendale, part of University of Sydney. That is $20 with the Dave Jackson Quartet. There's also going to be some folk electronica as an album launch at the Vanguard in Newtown, $16 with Caitlin Park. Moving on to Saturday the 12th, there is an alternative indie rock EP launch at the Captain Cook Hotel in Paddington. It's free with Royal Chant. It's not like those religious chants which personally fucking creep me out when everyone's just talking in unison, saying the exact same thing. It's a royal chant, so probably less creepy, but you might get some money out of it. Then on Sunday the 13th, there'll be a soul, pop, rock, jazz, EP, and album launch that's happening at the Vanguard in Newtown for $19, an EP launch from Jodie Stubbs, and an album launch from Sarah J. Highland. Moving on to special gigs, on Friday the 11th, there's going to be a free funk, pop, jazz, rock first birthday celebration for the Lazy Bones Lounge in Marrickville. Been around for a year, feels a lot longer. They do music every single day of the week, so really you can find any reason to go there. On this night, they're going to be having the Subterraneans and James Fox Higgins to celebrate their first birthday. Also on Friday the 11th, there's Birthday Festival 4.0, which is put together by Pinky and Nate every single year. This time it's at the Valve Bar in Sydney. Bunch of metal, bunch of rock, burlesque, pole dancing, all sorts of stuff to celebrate with, and all kind of bands like Domino, Subneuronic, Upside Down Miss Jane, Before, Sayada, I have no idea if I pronounced that properly, The Arbitrary Method, The World in Cinematic, and Bossa Baby. Now moving on to news, the independent artist label contract fuck. Google's music contract that they were giving to independent artists to be part of their music streaming service with YouTube, that's been leaked and kind of showed what they were offering, and it is really shit. The contract asks for a covenant not to sue, so it prevents any kind of independent label from suing Google for any reason whatsoever, as long as the contract has been signed by them. It also gives immunity to any users who upload the label's content to YouTube's video service. So I assume that means that just a random person on some other part of the world, if they upload the same song, the independent label can't do anything about it. There's no copyright claims, there's no anything like that, which YouTube's been really crazy about lately, so it's weird that they suddenly abandon that if you sign their contract. The contract also makes labels give up windowing, which allows them to make content exclusive to one platform for a certain amount of time. So for example, saying this song will be available on iTunes for the first week, then after that it's available everywhere else. Signing the contract makes them not allowed to do that. One final part of the contract says that any label that takes cuts to their royalty payments, those cuts are applied across the board to every single label. So if there's a massive multi-million-dollar label who decided to take a 10% pay cut to all the royalty payments across the board, then that 10% is also applied to the smallest independent label, regardless of what money they make. So it's all pretty crap. It does make sense that the independent labels did not want to sign with it because it's not very beneficial for them. It's all about it's a kind of exposure thing of oh hey, do this for us, we'll give you exposure. Ah, isn't that wonderful? Exposure. We're fucking up the ass, but with no lube. If it was lube, it would have been fine. No lube. But we're gonna fuck you. Moving on in news, there's a music law workshop that's going to happen July 22nd at the Sydney TAFE. It's put together by Music New South Wales, Arts Law, as well as the Sydney TAFE Music, and it's called Better Get Yourself a Lawyer. The night will cover subjects like management, label and booking contracts, publishing and sync agreements, business structures, booking agents, merchandising, copyright issues, and dispute resolution. So it's going to be on Tuesday, July 22nd from 6 PM to 8 PM at the Sydney TAFE. It will be free, but you need to RSVP by sending an email to jake@musicnewsouthwales.com by midday on Monday, July 21st. Finally, in news this week, applications have opened for a $50,000 grant. That's from the Carlton Dry Global Music Grant. It's put together by the Australian Independent Records Association, also known as AIR, and Carlton Dry. The band who won it last year, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, used their grant money to tour through America. They also set themselves up somewhere in New York, I think, to help record the next album. The applications are open for independent artists, so anyone who self-publishes their work or are with an independent label can apply for this. The only stipulation is that the money has to be used for overseas tour, showcases, album recording, or to relocate overseas to further the band or the artist. Applications close September 1st, so if you want to apply, just click on the news article in the description box below, and you can go there, you can check it out, apply for your own band, and hopefully get $50,000 to use to better your band. And lastly, band of the week this week goes to Milk, with 2Ks. They're a post-rock, punk, mostly instrumental kind of band. Really cool stuff to listen to. The same kind of thing with instrumental, where they kind of keep it interesting as it's going along. It's not too repetitive to listen to, but at the same time, you can just put it on in the background, chill out to it. Quite talented musicians. Good idea to see them live the next time they have a gig. I'll be playing a track of theirs at the end of this video, so if you like it, click their name in the description box, go give them a like and support them, and everyone will be happy. That is it for this week. The gig guide is already up on the website, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out now. Find out everything that's happening in live music this week. Go and support some bands, go out and have a drink, just find a reason to go out and party. If you're interested in any of the artists, news, or events that we've talked about, everything is linked in the description box below. Just click it, whatever you want to find, and it will appear to you with the magic of the internet. If you want to hear a track from each artist, just go check out our playlist, either on the website or on Mixcloud. This will be the last playlist that I'll put up, mainly because the time put into it and the time that I have doesn't quite equal up. All the playlists will still remain online, so you can check out all the previous bands that I've played and hear some cool music, find some new bands to check out. There will still be a playlist each month rounding up all the bands of the week that happened in that previous month. I just won't be doing week-to-week playlists anymore. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow on Twitter, on Tumblr, all that kind of stuff. You can follow us on Instagram, see some live pictures whenever I head out to a gig and get some shots of bands that are performing. I'll see you next Monday with another roundup of launches as well as news. Until then, be good.